I see, these comments, that are being put out there by, different, people. But can we not take a moment and just look at that thing and marvel in that thing and just appreciate, that thing? Why can we not do that? Why can you not just look at that thing and just appreciate that thing? But I'm not sure I said it. But anyway, just aside, guys, right? So I just thought, we just have a Friday session. We talk about this thing. So if you want to say something, just request the mic, and then I'll give you the opportunity. Go back to right. Say. T1.
Ango just Madi.
Abana.
Long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute. You say.
Andiri bo ango just yeah. Inina ango I think kuti pa chisini chicha sopa ichika zile convenience cause ndakamboita more than 4 hours 14 hours dripa mbudzi round papa ndakasikapo around. Yes, so I think for convenience, yes, it's something that we need to appraise. However, the cost that is attached to chinichocho now is something chiri worrisome. Kazhinji tinotanga kutotarisa kuti ndiani akachiita tohataona kuti ndikuda. Saka it actually means kuti chinhu chakangoitwa mumba kaiti. Maprices anobva ataurwa ekupenga angojezi vanhu vachitogowana havo bhegi kuseri. Saka hey, ipapo crisis iyo I don't know if it's gonna end in Zim. But zvekuti chinhu chapo hedu chinhu ichi tochida chiri bo. I've also spoken to an engineer friend. Ndaona pic renge riripo riri rakaiswa zimasimbi pazasi pe ningirikini chinhu chakavakwa necement. Ndobva ndoudza kuti this is not an ordinary structure. Kuengineering zviriko izvozvozvo. Chinhu ichocho chinotosimba zvisingaite. I don't know the language yaanga achitsanangura hake, but he was actually saying kuti that's the proper thing. Isusu
Andizo is designed ukuthi expansion and contraction something like that.
Exactly. Saka he was saying kuti this is the proper thing. Chinhu ichocho chakatoitwa chaizvo.
Right.
But ma keyboard warriors tagara hedu tinongoita iyoyo yekuti tinosora pamwe pacho tine political affiliation.
Yes. But Mkoma, there's a point the point has escaped me. Come on now, what's going on? Bane. Yeah. Panyaya kuti this thing is locally done. This is a Zimbabwean made thing by local contractors, by local people, local engineers, local whatever. Is it not a good thing that we have got something that has been locally done, which goes on to maybe demonstrate that we've got people who are capable of carrying out these huge infrastructure project.
I feel we should give credit where it is due. If it's true that thing was made locally, then thumbs up. We should give credit. We should leave our emotions, political emotions aside, and appraise. If we had local people, it means that people were employed. It actually caters for their families. So that's a positive. That's a positive. To me, hangu inini chinhu chechi is a positive in the sense yekuti it created employment for the locals. It actually gave convenience for traveling, and also we showed the world that we can as well do zvinoitwa nedzimwe nyika.
Right.
To me, that's a plus. Yes.
And it. Aiwa, thank you very much.
Question mark yangu inozongoya pamafigures apo.
But isn't it normal kutizo a project can initially be underfunded, and then Zotwa realize this money is not enough, and then it goes over the initial budget that would have been put for that project?
It's quite normal, Uncle Jez, but not in a society like Zimbabwe, where we know how these tenders are actually gotten, where we know who is benefiting out of the whole transaction.
Right.
Yeah.
Aiwa, thank you very much. Regarding the old one, but thank you very much for that. Right. Nkoma basi really say.
The right select Magunins were Uncle Jed.
Yeah, Magun's please, yes. Go ahead.
No, thank you. Nice to see you. How's family? It's the same word in my basi.
Aiwa, Muriri boy, meno kwa muri go kuti zvekufamba sei.
Aiwa, cricket nazo. No, thank you very much. Great topic. And then I'm going to first thing first, guys. I really appreciate Kuti. It's actually completed. It will be done by another year goes by. So I'm happy. That's number one. Number two, I know that this thing has been built with that no financing. Hakuna gonna finance one. So this is all cash. Saga, I think I commend them for getting the job done because I was skeptical. Because personal finance, because they must have been refinancing somewhere somehow. Saga, I don't know. Millions. That's only one thing I'm curious. And then lastly, but not least, I want to speak about the people who are in the country who have probably never ever have witnessed or have not been outside the country. This is probably the first time they've witnessed something like this in their country. So I can imagine, or I can see why they will be praising it or overly praising it because it's something that's a wow factor to them. So that's all I wanted to say. I get why they would do it because some of us who are a little bit exposed, this is everyday stuff, and we're not going to be overly singing our praise. I don't know, because we're used to it. But I get it as well from those perspectives. Outside the country, I totally respect them too. So yeah, I will end on that. Thank you, Uncle Jed.
Right. Are you 100% certain kuti zvapana chikwirita because I do something that my budget presentation achazouya pakunzizo there's money set aside for paying towards the construction of Trababaland.
Good question. Very good question. Like I said, I'll answer that question from a layman. I'm going to take off my highly educated Zimbabwean head off. I'll put a layman. So from a layman's perspective, from what we were told, because this is 100% cash financed, I'm treating it as Kuvaka from brick 1 to cement 2.
Mm-hmm.
They had to put the cash forward first before nothing can be completed. So in my head, just figure pavari kuti ipere cash akwenda kuzotikana zvinhu zvazonaka tako access ama IMF funds takuzotora futi loan cover ayo then we can start challenging them, but that's not true because makatudza kuti it's the first takabikwa nema locals and we use cash. Saka kana iri cash makatonotenga cement cash, mukatenga ma bricks cash, so there should not be any financing pambera.
Right. And it's thank you very much. I do appreciate. Right. My Nana, how are you?
Hello, Mkoma Gerard, how are you?
I am good. How is it, Kwamuri Koko?
We are fine. Taiwana troublers. Indoiti troublers. I got a new name for it.
Why?
That one is a disaster waiting to happen.
What kind of disaster are you now anticipating? Because the first disaster, I think, the first disaster in India Jambra, because the thing has been commissioned.
Obviously, who commissioned it? Munanganga commissions everything. This is not political. We are just saying the truth. He commissions everything, anything. How can a president commission to such a pair? My roads are so nama markings like my white lines are so how can a president lower himself to that extent? That thing is not even yet done, but because of pressure, people are talking about it, and they not and then they just go and do it. It's just like it's always like from pressure and whatever. When people start talking, he just commissions. When people start talking, he just commissions. But that one is just a disaster. Troublers is just a disaster awaiting. We are just waiting for it to happen, but we know very good. It's a disaster.
Yeah. Come on, and a prophet of doom, you mean?
Yes, let me be a prophet of doom of which but let me be in people one day one day you will just say, but my nana said it. That trouble as very much on trouble. We will see troubles there. We will see problems. People are going to cry.
Right.
And kuramba kuti ndiri prophet of doom. Yes, I am a prophet of doom. Ndikutaura kuti pachachemwa pachafiwa. There's a picture that I saw, I don't remember kuti yasendwa nani bridge yachona mainches akabata bridge anditi chinhu chiti zvitonengura just tuma I don't know, I don't say anything about construction, but tuma inches here tomati tumachia menu like munhu ari kutsigira danga remombe.
Right. Yeah, bakaiba.
People are saying it's a good thing. There's nothing good about that bridge. Roundabout that we know.
But the mother that Mbudzi roundabout, I'm seeing a picture of that old Mbudzi roundabout. Mother, are you young as the mother?
That was better because young as Singa like trouble as each. These troublers will be trouble. This thing will bring trouble.
Will bring trouble. I know, boy.
But seriously, do you remember? I once said there's nothing. But in Zimbabwe, if we get that into our heads, there is nothing good. There is nothing good. Nothing whatsoever good. Chinobuda pana Mnangagwa, chinoitirwa ma-citizens of Zimbabwe, kuti ma-citizens abudirire kana kuti ave right. There is nothing.
Yeah, those are so many nothings, that you've just put out, right there. There's nothing. Yeah, like my young you reminded me of that guy Wemo Matrix in Gekutanga. Akapiwa steak yangeri medium rare. Akati so. And when I wake up, I want to remember nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, there is nothing that Tagire can do. There is nothing that Mnangagwa can do for citizens. Chakati nakira isusu. Tata game rekudya mari. Imagine 88 million. Imagine 88 million US dollars. For that nonsense.
Right. Yeah, bakaiba. Ayo, maida basa maina chimo mire makadaro timonzwa Ngoma Martin. Ngoma Martin zviri sei?
Zvise Ngoma Martin.
Bana muri boy.
Andri bo. But I appreciate it this way got a highway in Zimbabwe.
Highway?
Yeah, no. That interchange, yeah.
Right.
No, that Nachamisa because Jordan must get roads. And if our economy is used right, if there's no exchange of the economy to give the Chinese sponsoring a bridge, because I believe that money that constructed that bridge is still a credit from China.
Really? Are you sure about that?
No, I'm saying that money was not paid fully.
But it was a cash payment, but I don't know, maybe takabisa mari kuivayote tikabisa mari agriculture.
Jagre akatobhadharwa nemaarrangements akazoita material nechichichi, but it wasn't what we think was right, the agreement. It's just like a parliament of Zimbabwe.
Right.
It wasn't constructed. It was constructed by the man of Zimbabwe, but the money was diverted to China for them to steal.
Yeah, bagaiba.
Yeah, so that's a difficult statement that I'm putting up to you. It's not an assumption, because that's how it is. It is when we do construction. There's a lot of robbery that happens there. Who owns the minerals in Zimbabwe is Mnangagwa's family, and who do the contracts is them. Space is them in their homes. And when they do those things, they were ashamed when Chamisa said, "What is spaghetti rolls?" Those things can be possible. No, thanks God we have got an interchange that will lessen the burden of people in Harare. But Zimbabwe are dead.
But it's a good thing, God, that that thing is there.
It's there. Maybe it can survive for 5 years or 10 years. But by then they have killed us all.
You want to mean
they're threatening the journalists like you. Let's promise once I don't know Chibakera and Mnangagwa.
Really?
This simple Chibakera, this one's I see Chibakera Chekutama Baba. Blessing Mnanga was threatened dead by Mnangagwa.
Directly put on this one again. Mnangagwa is the obvious you in the Bagger.
Akatotora kwazizo ameno kwazi ilo erected or yours just speaking on nyarara man
chimboita kuti vanyarare vanenge vari kumashura avo weze ndo vatakutonzwa mota
baba vanotaurisa kana vasvika paspace
voze vanongonge vachitotaura something ivo vayani vari kuseru.
Saka nyaya iripo ipaipa ndekuti kwanzi vakomana ngatigadzei nyika yedu. Maroads aya aconstructed nenzira dzakatema injini yakanaka muZimbabwe.
Right.
Mari dzedu tinofumwa kanaka. Macontracts edu akaitwa in a genuine vaifanira kugurisha.
But was there ever a report, throughout the life of this project? Was there ever a report of misappropriation of funds, or a report that things?
The man in question at first is comparing to other projects. Is a question.
Right. Okay. In comparison to other similar projects, you are saying Kutizo, it is not money's worth.
Why am I saying that?
Why are you saying that? Yes.
They overcharged a project which was simply because they were supposed to cater for road traffic.
Right. This argument that has always been put out there to say, Guti, because of our situation in Zimbabwe throughout, the whole 23 years, 24 years, 25 years, now. We have had to conduct our business at a premium. By that, you would find Kuti, the cost of the raw materials at access to now. kuti izoningi tinoita zvinhu premium vamwe vamboti is because of sanctions, so we have to go through my third parties, or vamwe vambotaura kuti izo nenyaya yekuti izo we were sort of kicked out of the monetary system. Sometimes we have to rely on my third parties. But this thing is being said to have been wholly done locally. Saka, can that argument still suffice? Yekuti probably it's because we were doing this at a premium.
Now, it's not about it. Mm-hmm. It's not about it. Yeah, the daylight robber. How can you charge a bridge? That's so much money.
but mamwe macomparisons ari kuitika mukoma ari kunzi izo maprojects akaitwa kunana 2009. Saka can we compare the 2009 figures and the today's figures and want to draw similarities or parallels right there in terms of wanting to kuti compare kuti chiri inflated kana kuti because pane interchange yanga iri kurifewa yakavakwa 65 million. I think that was back in the early noughties.
Inflation is zato cheaper izvezvi because there's no way got our Chinese partner who can provide machine at a cheaper price. Inflation of the prices are always there.
Right.
And what's more, that bridge was supposed to be cheaper.
All right.
And it was supposed to be cheaper than the 2009 that was created at that time. Was the value of dollar had not declined up to that extent?
No. And this is a project in another country.
And in Zimbabwe, we have got rocks where you can glass.
And in a steel foot.
Yes. Money is always.
Right.
Chitunda chakanyanya because makosti ekukonzera bridge muZimbabwe atoye cheap.
Right.
Saka kana kuti wanzwa kudhura and those if you call maybe money is tagure in resources in Eastern and the Eastern. So the whole supply, yeah.
Okay.
If you tell me the cost that's too much, I disagree with you.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Mkoma. Thank you very much for that. The guy teams we vamwe kuti nevanoruchipa. Thank you very much. I do appreciate. Thank you very much. Vamufasa, do you want to come in?
Murida seko Mkoma.
Hello?
Murise Mkoma.
Murise right.
So my own thoughts about that before we begin to criticize Nene is the fact that we have to applaud Kuti. It's one of the first things we've ever seen in Zim of this capacity. So even as a signage, I don't think most drivers can even comprehend. So it's a good fit for us as the country, and I think infrastructurally we are in the right direction. When there are some changes airport, there are different changes are kuitwa. I know point out kuti of course Vision 2030 and economic blueprint, it's complementing my efforts but we have to get to at what cost it was done. So most people my cost are it's too exorbitant, it's what but I'm not sure how far true the costing is, but we have to take into account panama compensations kubvisa vanhu maproperties avo, because when you're compensating a person wamvisa panzvimbo for you to conduct business there, you don't only compensate them for the value of the house nene, ucharasawo real estate value, market value nazvakadaro. So there's a lot of things that we are not sure about there. So even if takashandisa 88 million, we never really know, because to be honest, my actions the government have eroded public trust for a long time. So even if it's accurate, we don't know. That's first and foremost. Secondly, I'm not sure about my quality inspections. I'm into finance. I'm not a construction expert. But it is very obvious. For example, I was a commissioner president. I think Anam, Anzan Felix Mona, all those people, engage in vapedza kunyatsocleana road yaya nezvimamachines vakabuda vachiratidza kuti zvirimo zviya it's for road surfacing nei voisa mamarkings avo to the point yekuti kana zvikanzi principal vari kusvika panzvimbo everything has to be top notch. And I think behind closed doors my advisors at ED should really sit down with him vomuudza kuti some of these things ngapatange paitwa ma-inspections whether ma-CIO or whatever some other independent organization yoona kuti is it befitting for the president to grace such an occasion. And
right. So now are you speaking in terms of the criticism that is now that is being put out there by people vakutasa road yacho, because I saw somebody say but the road in old tarred road, you wanted it kuti inyatsorakidzawo yakasvibirira, those white lines being out there there's something here.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Secondly, mwanarasa infrastructure yedu of course we're in the right direction but at a slow pace. But marasa this project nema delays. Even if you look at dualization yenoton I'm not sure amakure mangani bob akaisi iripo mkuru achipinda wanga ne confidence, everyone was very confident, actually excited, and it's now stagnated. So when it comes to infrastructure we need to take it seriously in terms of my inspections because these are things that could cost lives. But says on that tower we applaud his excellence Vaita Basa, because that Mudzi thing it was chaotic. What we now need to do to make sure drivers are well informed about signage ripaipaya.
Yes.
We also try to make sure my vendors kana vachida nzvimbo paipaya ngavatsvagirwe some sort of space designated iri nani, because that thing tazona pazara vanhu pamusoro paipaya vakabata uyu seflive yekumbare
ndaona pane imwe image yatange handikuziva kuti was it because there were so many people there nenyaya yekuti there was this commissioning. But there was a combi, that was there. I don't know, but people, are commenting on that. This is not something that we would want to see around, that project. I mean, around the area.
Yeah, it's not something you'd want to see. So I think that anyways, thank you so much. One thing we appreciate about your spaces is you speak from a neutral point. Knowledge zakashata, we call it as it is. Zokuti anabashona nevamwe vaya division ravo, I think they should appreciate the fact that when we criticize, it's not good we have any personal problems with any party or what we want is the best for ourselves as Zimbabweans, as tax-paying citizens, because my towards Tushanda peanuts to tax one. So I think that's the best I can do. But anyways, congrats them. Let's hope there won't be any negative implications or loss of life. Thanks.
Right. Thank you very much, Mkoma Mufasa. I appreciate you. Right. Regarding the Zambezia research. Zambezia research, how are you doing? Zambezia research, are you there? All right. Okay. Bashona, do you want to come in? Abana bamurse.
Ndiri boy.
Ndiri kuriseko.
Tiri kuzipiko. Unongo wayo. Kuita kuzipigwa oniko zve mwana womutema.
Vazipigwa neko nhai bavini.
Rega titoushusura isi magrade 2D maorevu akahutarisa.
Yeah. Flagship project. Amakamirira project.
Rega titopembera zvedu ukaona chinhu chiitwa nemwana womupama kongatadza kupemberera.
Right.
Tatawa unongohwa ukatarisa history yeZimbabwe weMukoma. Anyway, Mukoma, let me try to answer your question, Yamaisa Wamsoram. You see, if you go back into our history, and you know it very well, 80s, 90s, most of our roads, you can notice this project, Chinese, this dam, Koreans, or this one was done by this one was done by this. But when we have got this kind of project, the magnitude of it, how big it is, surely I have to be proud to be Zimbabwean, because as far as I know, and as far as the details that we have, we understand this project was 100% nguva Jonathan Moyo taiti ndoinonzi 100% local content.
Right. Okay.
this project was done by you and me. These are our brothers and sisters, our mothers and fathers who did this project. Whether umachazoya chiti yanga ifwa kwenda yakataza mdenga, you have to blame yourself because it's you, it's your brother, it's my brother, it's your sister, it's my sister. So at the end of the day, the criticism, it's good because we are criticizing ourselves rather than criticizing the other. Kuti date to criticize our mwanakava kunimwenyika. But I want to come. There's so many issues. There's a sister angachitaura kuti pane bridge rakameno mapila akanamwa nema what. And if you check, that picture is from 2024, which was posted by Civil Engineering, some body which is in North Africa thereabout. So at the end of the day, I don't know what my sister was trying to say, and promising kuti kuchafa vanhu. I think, as Zimbabweans, we don't need to be in that kind of mentality. You threaten kuti kuchafa vanhu, as if you know yourself, unless if they are planning to put a bomb, and then the bridge will be. Then I think she has to explain herself on that, because we cannot come here and threaten people. Pachafa vanhu. I don't think it's a good language as Zimbabweans. Now, Nyamashisha, let's come back to the issue of comparison, which has been making noise in these streets.
Yes.
If you remember very well, I don't know how people do comparisons, and I don't know people do their researches.
Mm-hmm.
In Zimbabwe, we haven't have any project of that nature, right? With the same designs, with the same maybe terrain, with the same contractors, with the same quotations or specs of the contract or the specs of the tender. I saw people comparing with the Jacob Zuma interchange, which was done in 2009, 2010, 2011, thereabout. You are comparing South African economy, which during that time, Jacob Zuma rand was fairly strong than what it is today. If you then come to our issue, Nyamashisha, if you remember very well, sometime a year or 2 years ago, there's a time that we're not even producing a bag of cement in our country. This came after Lafarge, now Kaya, was given sanctions by United Kingdom, if you remember very well. And the production of cement, people would import cement from countries like Zambia. And just imagine when you're importing cement to put in that kind of construction, how many tons are you going to import, Kutawia's or Shandapa project here? And then I would say maybe 90% of steel which was used on that project was imported mainly from South Africa, right? And thank God now we've got Maniz. I'm sure the next project that is coming in between, along Simon Masoro, the Trothmans, we are going to have, more local raw materials to reduce the cost of import. What I'm trying to say, Nyamasha, in a nutshell, there is no comparison that we can do. As we all know, as in the rocket science, our economy is very expensive as compared to other economies within the region. A price of a bag of cement right now, if you Google it right now, Mkoma, you realize that our cement is very expensive compared to the one in Botswana or to the one in South Africa. Mm-hmm. Just Google on using PPC that we have in Zimbabwe and then PPC South Africa or PPC Botswana. You get the prices in Zimbabwe are very, very expensive.
But why is that also? Why is that the situation? Yes.
Remember, we have been making noise about using US dollar. US dollar has been not be favorable, to some extent in our economy, because if everyone who comes to do business is targeting US dollar. Nyamashisha, I wish one day, Mombo Famba Maramono, how people is reduce US dollars to nothing, right? If we are in a position, you could see one day our currency no Fuma Simba is strong and then be competitive within the region. Probably we might have, our products, cheaper. Price of a bread in Zimbabwe, in Nyamashisha, as compared to price of bread in other regions, it's very expensive.
But we have our local currency. Why is it our local currency is not stepped in, to deal with some of these things, that you're talking about?
You know what? I'm not an economist, but as a layman, I would say to you, for a currency to get to where it's supposed to be or to be competitive within the region, it has to be supported by a full-blown production within the country.
Right.
Our production in the country is maybe 45 to 50%, because our manufacturing industry is not that performing, right? Agriculture is trying, but at the end of the day, with this El Nino thing, drought,
and the seasonal as well,
yeah. And then when it comes now to our winter season, we realize that we are being affected with electricity when it comes to producing things like wheat, soya beans, and so forth. I remember, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday in Parliament, when the Deputy Minister of Finance was saying, we are just praying that our electricity, what we have, we can manage to have a better production from the farms. So these are some of the issues that we to marine irate low up until tashika point we've produced our export at a larger scale, and the quantity we can make. Now we've exported maybe 100 million this month. Next month we're expecting maybe 200 million. That's when our currency start to gain value. I'll then come to a point if this continues with this pace that we're doing, I think when it comes to my roads, we are in a serious trouble as a nation. And this route that we are talking about, Bed Bridge, Mashingo Harare, Churunda Highway, is our cash cow. Our cash cow, if you know kuti cash cow chin, Bed Bridge, tipamaria kawanda. And that route alone kuti yaishika yoloka pambudzi paya kuloka kuti ndi. Wakunobva pambudzi paya inosvika paya na 6 o'clock mazorodoka, wobva paya 11 midnight. You can imagine kuti minge maloka matrack mangani po paya. I'm just hoping and praying that one day government will put also, or maybe invest more into rail, so that we don't congest more into our roads and so forth. But this alone, this project alone, in my view, is a game changer to those people who use this road, Mashingo Road. But the only plea that I'm making to Zimbabweans is, let's protect what we have. Whether let's protect them and let's maintain them. Because at the end of the day, apana munhu atiri kubira, apana munhu atiri kukwanyira ndisu, and also to drive safe. Nyamashisha vanhu vari kufa maroad.
Right.
It's very painful the way people are dying because of maybe 80 to 90% of our road accidents that we are facing today in our country. It's a human error, which is very, very dangerous. I don't know when are we going to change the way we are driving in our roads. And yes, we need nice roads, we need to drive in a beautiful roads, but at the end of the day, if we are killing one another because I want to speed or because I don't want to give way to someone, then at the end of the day, my roads are
right.
You see. So Nyamashando 2 cents zangu dzaninga contribute pa topic yenyu, but as a Zimbabwean, I'm very happy. I think there's a question amabvunza kuti this project yakaitwa locally funded. I think if you Google on the last IMF report that they did, they will tell you that Zimbabwe has not been borrowing money from IMF for a long time.
No.
Yes. Yes. So we this especially this road, ever since it started from Bed Bridge to Mari to borrow outside, it's the Bed Bridge border post,
right,
the upgrade. But the road itself, up to where it is right now, it's our money. Pa 1 point something billion ya tukutora kubva diaspora. Diaspora remittance ndo mamwe achona ari kuita izvozvi.
But in minute,
imwe mari yatinari
all
kuva
right, hatikazotanga imwe conversation, but anyway, thank you very much.
no Nyamashi, I'm just appreciating how
it's good that you appreciate it. Wait. No. Come on, guys, Mirai, and Buritse Mono is not going to be Buritse from here. If you want to engage, with him, you will. But I just, what did I want to say?
No, I think you wanted to talk about the issue of remittances.
Oh yes, good. It's good that you appreciate that the diaspora, is a key player in the economy in Zimbabwe. But diaspora has been getting a raw deal, from the government. There's no proper recognition of the diaspora in terms of giving them a say, a voice in the affairs of that nation. When it comes to the monies, you clap hands, you ululate. But when it comes to the contribution, politics in Zimbabwe, there are people who are tagged. But our money knows. Our money knows a lot.
Nyamashisha, let me answer you this question. I know it's a political question that you have asked.
Yeah, this is why I say I wanted to avoid that because
I would try to run away from political point of view. But I think Nyamashisha, you have seen President wherever he goes, globally, is meeting people in diaspora. He might not meet everyone, but he is appreciating. But when it comes to the issue of maybe people in diaspora voting and so forth, the issue, Nyamashisha, and it's a fact, it lies in the Parliament of Zimbabwe, right? We have people who are sitting in the Parliament. They will tell you that we are going to have electoral reforms. It's another story altogether. But what I can simply say for now, Nyamashisha, allow me to abuse your platform to thank Zimbabweans who are in diaspora for their contribution to our country. That alone, even the president himself appreciates. The Minister of Finance, they know how much he's getting because it's a free money that is coming to help our country. We are not borrowing this money, but these are the people who are contributing. Nyamashisha, I'll end by saying the people who are in diaspora now is the middle class of Zimbabwean economy.
Right.
Because these are the people, if you go right now across Harare, wherever you go, these are the people who are building beautiful houses. And you can imagine how much they are putting into construction industry. It's a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Which is creating employment. So at the end of the day, I'll be very stupid to say, no people in diaspora, they're not contributing to our economy.
Right, okay.
Thank you
so
much.
Okay, but there are people that want, to have a conversation with you. But before I do that, I know Nana, you want to say something, Martin, you want to say something. But before Baba Shona, came in, Zambesia is one who was supposed to speak. So since I had called out his name, can I give him the opportunity, to say something? And then I'm going to revert back to folks that want to engage with Baba Shona, but let us do it. Zambesia, please come through. Sean.
Hello, can you hear
Yes,
me?
go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Ango Jared for the opportunity. Yeah, first of all, I want to speak about equality, the quality of the Interchange. I think by and large, from what I see, the quality looks good. I've noticed something about the pics from Zim. I don't know if it is sometimes the pics don't come out, but the thing appears to me it appears like South African standard. It looks South African standard to me. And I think the design was done by South Africans. I think the design of that interchange, it must have been done. If you look at the bridges themselves, the guidelines are higher. They are South African standard, and if you look at the signage, it looks South African standard, and it goes with what they were saying that the design was done by a South African firm. I cannot vouch for the quality of the surface here road because obviously you need to examine it to tell. But
But you are saying, but you are
other.
saying everything there is South Africa quality. Come on now.
Yeah, if you look at the signage and the pillars they have used to mount the signage, it's totally like a South African interchange. If you look at the signage and the pillars used to mount that thing, it's like a South African interchange. And I think it goes with that the design came from South. If you look at the bridges, the Maura Wani Sapa Bridge, a South African interchange. But for the surface of the road that is manje, because the surface is it quality, it needs someone to shake up. I haven't been there. You can't tell that from the picture. It has to someone who has been there aka examine the quality of the surface. How is this quality? But the interchange is right. One thing Chiri right about the interchange, I say this because there was another one posted by Freeman sometime. The guy called Freeman Anita Politics. That design yakaiswa patra bubblers, it's freeway standard. Unlike the one yakanga yaiswa na Freeman I meet a freeway standard, because if it is a freeway, those roads must, those carriage way in the south, in the north, or in the west or east afan crossa. Saka that interchange is across. The Travelers design is freeway standard, which why I say this is good is because make that road a freeway. They better build my freeway standard exchanges, which is what they have done. That interchange can fit into a freeway, because obviously in the long run, Harare needs freeways. We can't continue running these roads which are not freeways, because in capacity roads ISO as the number of cars continues to increase. So that interchange, if you check within that interchange, it's freeway standard. Apana road interrupt time here, apana kana interruption in traffic in terms of apana kana pauno zoda kuisa robot kana ita see. Everything is grade separated, which is good. So kana wakazoda kuita freeway, it's easier because that interchange will just fit into a freeway. For instance, Warukuti, I don't know how true that is. They were saying they were going to put another interchange at ZBC. So wakaisa saying interchange per ZBC pepe, maybe wakazi saying per Rothmans. When they connect to those interchanges, they will make a freeway. That is the quality to me. I don't know the surface, but the quality is okay. And the issue, it's a freeway standard exchange. That's what we need to do. We need to move toward my freeways. Because I think roads are interrupted. If you look at South Africa, my towns are always a freeway, and we need to go to that. So that interchange is freeway standard, and a freeway, it will just fit in there. The signage looks good. It's the first time we have had this kind of signage in Zimbabwe. Artisanal signage, if you look, our old signage, Yakasiwana Smith, he was a bit behind Yavaisapo. Yavaisapo is like what we have in other countries, Wanema freeways. So the signage looks good. Then this thing, guys, we know, of course, it's not the best, but if you look at the kind of construction we have had in Zimbabwe, it's the first time we have seen something like this. So we hope it is going to provide forward. If you look at what Mugabe was doing, guys, but I studied Mugabe's projects. Mugabe tried to dualize road here in Indaku. Akaijualize kushika first target in South Park. And the work was a disaster. Weki rangaraitwa na Superman wanzira nerimwe boys vaizvitichi ameno zitara pavakadzura road. They did so poor imwe work yokuti you couldn't believe that people could approve this. Mugabe was doing all my projects asingaiti. Check zvavakaita ku airport. What it is done ku airport. The construction is a bit inequality. If you look at what they did ku airport, they have upped the construction standard in Zimbabwe. The same thing applies to Javavaita so far Pamashungo Road, yes, right. Of course, there are issues with my surface area for properly, but there has been an improvement compared. If you look at Norton Road, dualization yaitwa namugabe nana superman wanzira nana chiyangwaka was of such an acceptable standard. These guys, if you look especially at this interchange, it's a huge improvement yokuti to have these guys go there and open something chinoonekaka. It's a big improvement over what we have had. Things have been zvavichiitika muZimbabwe boys ka zvavisiri kufamba. This thing vakachitora in the right breath ka, we have something chinooneka kuti paitwa basa. If they take that spirit and it and go forward, we can build things. Like now they are talking of ZBC. This can be an example of things we need to do. Of course, we may need to polish here and there, but we need those things. We need to start building things. Like what they have done here. Then I come to the issue of funding. I think panauye mari ndo pane question yechunichi. Mari inenge yakarohwa. Vakomana they overprice my projects. It's obvious that this thing is using my inflated figures. Because they Gananda and so forth, they want to cream off these things. No pane issue manje kuti. These guys marine yadyiwa because they overinflate. Like if you compare, we hear that the design was done in South Africa. So I would think if the cost should be around the South African figure. But now yedu inenge yaita times 3 or something. Those guys were saying these things should cost 27 million and isu strikunzwa ma figures ma 88. So I think pamare apa this thing is overpriced and it's because of corruption now. That's where the corruption comes in. That's where they get it wrong because my projects are overinflated. Also panauye funding. If it is true kuti vakomana vakashandisa cash, that's not a plus, it's a negative because projects of this magnitude shouldn't be run on cash. Because government must use cash for other health care, the things people need now. You can't be building my freeways, nema interchange on cash basis. Actually, the reason why these guys may go for cash is because they want to do corruption. Because cash, they need my South African banks or other international banks. Now those guys are also doing corruption. The reason why they may be going the cash route, I think, is to facilitate corruption. Because my banks are not so for a project of that magnitude. I also do it a corruption because if you do corruption, name a big figures, you can run into trouble with my financial services authority. I say kunana United States and so forth because one of you guys were doing this and that in Zimbabwe.
Right.
So if these guys are using cash to do this thing, to assign you to pato biwa mari papa. Ufanuita cash chunchakadai chinoda fine. Then the government is a sovereign entity can pay like Shatagaita paid. You can't do my freeway ni cash. Then pani yanga istawa na bashona ye local. I think we get it wrong. When we do my construction project, you don't necessarily need local maybe because the skills are not here. We haven't been building interchanges, so the skills are not there. Those knows the contract poor quality. But local now, when you do my projects and last hundreds of years, you don't need to do local because the benefits are local are far outweighed by the damage substandard. Let's take an example. Look at Victoria Falls Bridge. Right? That bridge is from England and it was shipped from England. But who remembers that thing now? It came in the 1890s and we've run on that bridge for 100 years. So you can't be talking local to last 100 years. We don't need that. Can I build the infrastructure? What you is quality. Because I just so you don't need to 100 years later poor quality because I wanted to go local. For my infrastructure project, quality is important because it lasts my generations. I know it far outweigh any benefit ya ungawana pa ku employ local people there. The same applies to the railways which were laid like the Blaawai railway which was laid down Nana roads Daradar. Nobody thinks now who was building that thing in terms of local content.
Right.
So pana uyukuti quality they must actually go more towards, even if you look the Chinese do it. The Chinese manje what they did is vakanontorama westerners kuti vava vakiri but vachita learn. Then they have the expertise, they do it. We can bring in the Westerners and the South Africans, what it and it. Isu stopping as my joint ventures, my engineers they don't want a skill. Then maybe after 20 years or so, we know how to do these things.
Right, all right. Right. Thank you very much, Mkoma. But I appreciate. Thank you very much. Right. There's an issue yadaona iliku trenda. That issue, I think it is speaking to modernity in terms of the comparison yacho ilikuitwa. You are looking at these other projects that have been done in other countries, and when you take an aerial view of that project, you are looking at something that is quite well done, quite beautiful to see. And then when you just suppose that with our trababalas, when you're looking at this trababalas, you need to be honest, but in terms of loving the thing from that aerial perspective and looking at this thing and comparing it in a dream world, they are suspended, roads are properly suspended. You are seeing this spaghetti type of thing going on right there, and it's actually looking beautiful. I don't know, Guti, is it a point that can be spoken about at this juncture here to say, when you're looking at this thing, it's not looking nice, it's not looking good, it's not looking beautiful, right? Saka, I don't know, Guti, is this where some of the criticism is being derived from? Right, but anyway. I know, I don't want you, to respond, to what I've said. But I'm just saying, this is what I'm seeing, and this is this is what is maybe making that argument, to be out there. When you're looking at this thing, and you look, in comparison with this that has been done in Ghana, this has been done in South Africa. When you're looking in terms of modernization, modernity, in terms of this structure being like modern, like very modern. People are arguing that ours is way far behind when it comes to that aspect. But is it a point of criticism? Is it something that can be used as a point of criticism?
Can I respond to my brother who was talking about the issue of my projects being funded and so forth?
Yeah, good. Okay, I'm for quality purposes.
Yeah,
can you wait and then
I'll give you the opportunity to speak.
What he is saying is actually true when it comes to a normal economy. I think some economists can understand. Zimbabwe right now.
But come on now, why do we have to hide behind that thing that ours is normal? Why should we be in a situation of not being normal though?
Yeah. So my point is, Mkoma. Right now, if you check the money that we are owing, both local lenders and international lenders, it's a lot of money in our country.
Absolutely.
That's why Murkuona, former president of Mozambique, Comrade Chisano, is in and out Zimbabwe. We are trying to clear our debt, and our debt started way back from 1979.
Okay, yeah, there's that, legacy debt that's.
Yes,
that comes from the Smith regime.
At the end of the day, Mukoma, what I'm trying to say here is to my brother, what he's saying is correct. And if you then give it to, like, for example, to my issues of South Africa, like what he was talking about. Yes, they can borrow money, my banks, they can lend so that the economy no number extended and the marine circulator. But in our case, it's very, very difficult for us now to continue borrowing, yet we want to, paying each both local and international. In my view, right now, my brother, at the moment, we need to work with what we have, because if we continue to borrow, I can tell you we will not come out from this problem that we are facing as a nation.
So you are telling me in extra balance, there's no credit.
There's no credit. It's your money that was put there.
All the workers were paid, and there's no one who is owing. The government is not owing anybody. That's what you are telling me.
The workers are being paid by their employer, and their employer is the contractor. So my point, Mkomba, I will end by saying what you are saying, you're correct. If we were in a situation whereby probably our debt is at a lower level than what it is today, yes, we can ask my banks, my local banks or my international banks to fund such this project. In, for example, IDBZ, that is the bank that is owned by state that can borrow on behalf of the state. But as it is, my brother, to be honest with you, we look at our debt and the interest that has been, going up and up every day, every month, every year. We cannot sustain our economy continuing borrowing without doing other things that we know we have done this and it's finito and we are done.
Right.
That's my view, Mkoma.
Before you go, before I bring anything into the conversation, I've posted something right there at the top from Peter Mupondi. There's a comparison of the current, the Trababalas and there's that structure. Are we ever going to see the roads, right now, looking perfect like what we are seeing in that other picture? Because some people are saying it's still working, in progress. So maybe it might not be fair to mount that criticism, right now about, the surface, and stuff like that, since it is work in progress.